Hello, ladybirds and bumblebees. Are you excited for your lesson today? Did you enjoy your lesson yesterday about space? I wonder what you thought you would need to take into space. Thank you if you sent me your work. I love to look at it. Today, your learning objective is to describe, so using your words, write and draw what I would see if I went to space. So for today's lesson, you're going to need to use your imagination, okay? So let's quickly just look over what we learned yesterday when we were talking about space. So we learned that in space there's lots of different solar systems. Do you remember that word? And in the solar systems there are planets and moons. Do you remember how many planets there are in our solar system? Tell your adult if you can remember. There was 8. Well done. If we went into space, we talked about seeing different stars shining, and we talked about how it's dark in space. So I think you might need to think about that today when you're describing. The moon. The moon is made of rock, and after the sun, it's the brightest object in the sky. So the sun is the brightest, and then the moon. It's smaller than the earth, and we were talking about this man, weren't we? Neil Armstrong. Do you remember what he did? Do you remember what Neil Armstrong did? He walked on the moon. I wonder if anybody remembered that. And this was his footprint, wasn't it, on the moon? And then we talked about the planets. Okay, don't look. Can you remember what any of the planets are called? Tell your adult if you can remember any of the planets. Okay, how did you get on with that? So there's 8 planets in our solar system. There's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Can you remember which planet we live on? Which planet do we live on, Reception? Tell your adult. We live on Earth. Well done. Okay, so now we've gone over what we learned about space and some of the things we might see in space. Your task for today is to use your imagination to think about what you might see in space, okay? So I want you to pretend that you are this man and you are looking out of your rocket window in space. What can you see? I would like you to first tell your adult, okay? So before you write anything down, I want you to tell your adult what you would see. Then I want you to write it down, and maybe you could even try and draw it. I really, really, really want you to try and use your wow words today. What do we call wow words? We've got a special name for them. It begins with an A. We call them adjectives. Well done. So I would like you to tell your adult what you would see, write it down, and then maybe draw it. If you want to, you could use your adult's phone maybe, or a computer, or an iPad, whatever you have, or books, to try and find some pictures of space to help you with your imagination to see what it looks like in space, okay? Think about all the things that we've talked about. So we've talked about the solar system, the sun, the stars, the moon, the planets. These are all things that you might see in space. So your task today, tell your adult what you would see if you looked out of your window in space, write it down and draw it, and then use some wow words, okay? And when you finish, I would love to see all your amazing ideas. So you can email them to me or you can put them on Tapestry, and I can't wait to see them. Well done, Reception. Enjoy your work today. Do lots of good thinking, lots of good describing, lots of good writing, and lots of good drawing. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Bye, Reception.